It's your guy Bendu, and I'm coming at y'all with another video today. So this one I was supposed to drop it last Friday, but y'all know things come up. I didn't get to it. I'm getting to it now. But it kind of goes in tandem with the Max Blumenthal Xinjiang shakedown video that I did, because it details this article, and it's very fascinating. It's very fascinating. It details a company, like a company in the region that's fighting back, a Chinese company, you know, that's been accused of slave labor fighting back. So before I get into the article, I do want to preface by saying, like, you know, I am a fan of Crystal and Sagar's show Breaking Points. However, not without my problems and criticisms, which you're going to have problems and criticisms with anybody you watch. You're not going to agree with anybody 100%. However, the issue I have with Sagar, and the reason why it's so annoying sometimes, is because I'll agree with him on about 75% of everything he says. I feel like having a conservative talk about inflation the way he's been talking about inflation is fucking amazing. And, you know, on other issues concerning the economy, he's extremely well. However, the problem is for me, the reason why certain things are the way they are economically here in the United States is because of our foreign policy. You know, we spend a large portion of our money on the military unnecessarily, on offensive, endless wars. You know, I'm not going to go into a whole Tulsi Gabbard spiel. Like, basically and that's why they hated her so much, because she told the truth, and that's why they hate Sagar as well, because he tells part of the truth. But he admits time and time again. There's this one podcast somebody recently did, I think it was Mint Press, and Ben Norton tweeted it out. They tweeted out this article somebody wrote about him and his past when it comes to a lot of these, like, these foreign policy think tanks that are like basically fucking war hawks. So it's like, I do like to say, I don't give a fuck like why you want to end war. As long as you're willing to end war, I can work with you on that. However, that doesn't mean I don't get to critique, you know, the reasoning behind it. Like, I'll work with you to end the wars, but at the end of the day, you can't just want to end, you know, a war in Afghanistan or Syria, stop the wars there, but you're perfectly okay with us basically instilling this rules-based order, which Sagar has admitted that he wants the United States to set the tone for the world. And it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, bro. So the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because he's one of the people that pushes this slavery narrative in Xinjiang and everything, and like, oh, they have Uyghurs there picking cotton, this, that, and the third. Like, to me, it's like, this is projection, honestly. You know, the fact that what they're accusing China of doing to Uyghurs in the region is so hypocritical. Like, here you have a nation, the United States would not exist without its slave labor. It would not have developed itself the way it has if not built on the backs of people that look like me. That's just a fact. If you don't want to admit that, I don't know what to tell you. You're probably a snowflake like Ron DeSantis is. I'm actually going to be doing a story about Ron DeSantis. But let me go ahead and get into the article. Well, first, let me sum up what I was saying. So, you know, Sagar's one of the people that pushes this China slave narrative. But like I covered in the Max Blumenthal article, when you push that narrative constantly, and you basically, you know, incite people to take this, you know, activist like action, you know, we're basically BDSing the wrong country. That's basically what they're doing. What they're forcing a lot of these companies to do, which is not work with, you know, businesses in the region, which leads to Uyghurs losing their livelihood, losing their jobs, their means to live and exist. And it's like, nobody gives a shit because they want to believe this basically conspiracy theory. Like, Sagar to me is no different than the fucking shit libs pushing Russiagate. So with that being said, I'm going to prove my point with this article. You know, I covered this, and, you know, this kind of goes in line with, like I said, with Max Blumenthal's article, but I feel like this drives it home even more. HKers file lawsuit against U.S. on Xinjiang. This is from a magazine called Friday. By the way, I believe Max Blumenthal was the one that tweeted this out, and that's where I saw it. This is by Nuri Vitachi, and I never heard of this journalist before, but the article was great. A Hong Kong family firm A Hong Kong family firmly stood with their Uyghur staff members yesterday by playing America at its own game. They took out a lawsuit in the U.S. courts against that country's Department of Commerce using Western lawyers. Shirt maker Esquil, run by Hong Kong's Yang family, has been blacklisted after accusations that it ran a slave labor cotton picking operation in Xinjiang using Uyghur prisoners sent by governments from detention centers. But the allegations were entirely false, according to large amounts of evidence the company has gathered. In contrast, the evidence against Esquil appears slim to non-existent, consisting largely of allegations from the Australia Strategic Policy Institute, a militaristic Sydney-based research group financed by Western government sources and U.S. and UK arms deals. What is the ASPI? The ASPI, the U.S. State Department, an arms industry funded think tank, notorious for satellite analysis that has labeled government buildings, primary schools, and senior high schools in Xinjiang as concentration camps. Among the ASPI researchers cited by WRC was Vicky Zhu, I think that's how you say that, an anti-China activist and attempted comedian who has reportedly declared, "I'm in a real war with China." An investigation by Michael West Media found that a substantial sum of ASPI's donations came from corporations that rely on prison labor. So I pulled that from the Max Blumenthal article so I could just remind y'all of what, who and what the ASPI is. This is the Esquil facility in Xinjiang, by the way. The Department of Commerce provided no evidence for its erroneous decision, said U.S. lawyer James Tice, filing the lawsuit this week on behalf of staff at Esquil's Xinjiang subsidiary, Shangji Esquil Textile Company. The Yang family firm's Xinjiang operation has about 400 Uyghur team members, including 15% who have worked there for more than 10 years. Because we do not discriminate based on race, gender, religion, or ethnicity, our team in Xinjiang has always included Uyghurs, the company said. Many Uyghur staff chose to stay long term. This makes sense since the company pays 2 or 3 times the minimum wage, gives all staff the same promotional opportunities, and even has chefs to prepare Uyghur food in the staff restaurants. God, Jesus Christ, man. If only, I wish Amazon would have a soul food place. That would actually be kind of racist. I would be like, yo, it's like showing up to the party and like some motherfucker has fried chicken and they look at you as soon as you walk through the door. It's like, nah, I'm not like that. But that was a joke. But that's crazy. Like, I don't get that at my job. We have pizza parties sometimes, like when we meet quotas and shit like that, but we don't have a personal chef on site to make, culturally appropriate food, whether I'm Black, Asian, whatever. We don't have that here in America. And that's not me trying to equivalent, but they're not showing evidence. As we showed in the Max Blumenthal article, the evidence is very thin. It's based off of shoddy research by people like Adrian Zenz, and data also, or not data, but personal accounts given from people influenced by the U.S. government, whether it's through the National Endowment for Democracy or any of its subsidiary proxy organizations or NGOs, whatever you want to call them. Through this big web. It's like the NGO industrial complex, like Max talks about and Whitney Webb talks about as well. It's insidious as fuck. The family behind Esquil, a spectacular Hong Kong success story, is well known in the city. It was funded by Yang Yuan Long, known as YL, and Tizam Shah Sui in 1978, and promptly signed the first U.S.-China agreement of its kind in the international garment trade. The firm grew to be one of the biggest shirt makers in the world, creating 100 million garments a year. It is now run by his daughter, Marjorie, highlighted in the main picture at the top. That was the picture from the beginning, so let me go back so y'all can see her. Right there, that's her. A popular figure in Hong Kong, known for her civic and charity work, and also for her interest in equality for women and other progressive issues such as sustainability. So I'm not sitting here saying that this company doesn't have, every company has bad, some form or way bad labor practices. Not everybody's going to be satisfied with the job, but to take that and try to insinuate it as if it's like slavery or some shit like that, or like they're working for nothing, they're being forced to work there. It's completely and utterly fucking ridiculous, man. The accusations of slavery or the use of forced labor come from ASPI, an Australian group best known for locating compounds in China by using Google Maps and alleging that they are concentration camps. But as I just showed you, um, the think tank is notorious for satellite analysis that has labeled government buildings, primary schools, and senior high schools in Xinjiang as concentration camps. So they've literally been wrong on multiple occasions. And now not only are they costing, they're not only are they destroying, this woman's business, who by like a capitalist metric, this is the capitalist aspect that exists in China, but that people try to make out as the overall of China, whatever. But also you're robbing Uyghurs of their livelihood. And why? It's not to actually help them. If you actually gave a fuck about Muslims, you would be screaming at the government at the top of your lungs to get the fuck out of Syria. I don't see Sagar doing, back-to-back nonstop, his little radars about, ending the Syrian war. He wants to end the Syrian war on the precipice of cost, not lives. But here we are, you're destroying, you claim to care about these people, and you're destroying their lives. You're destroying their livelihood. This is literally the same shit they accuse China of doing to us. Literally. The only difference is with China didn't like force by gunpoint American businesses to ship jobs overseas. That didn't happen. No, that was capitalism that did that. That was people under their own volition and freedoms doing that, fucking over the working class on behalf of profit. But here you have, a working class group of people in China getting fucked over through imperialism, through imperialist methods. This is all about stopping China's economic growth. That is what this is about. It's not going to work, but that's what it's about. At no point did ASPI contact the Yangs or any staff from the Hong Kong garment firm before making the accusations that resulted in it being placed on a blacklist that triggers seriously harmful trade restrictions. Like, they're not going to, but that's the thing. They're not going to do that. They're not going to contact them and see what's up, because they're trying to throw these accusations here regardless to sink the business, because it's probably an important sector to China's economy. So again, that's what this is all about, destroying China's economy. The company's response to the accusations appear to be textbook examples of openness. They invited U.S. Commerce Department staff to visit the facilities in Xinjiang with free and open access, but they did not respond. So if you wanted to really find out the answer to this, they're telling you, come on, come see for yourself. Oh no, we're just going to throw these accusations at you and not like this is literally them being judged in the court of public opinion. But at the end of the day, this is a factory in China. They're not bound by our laws or anything like that. But unfortunately, this is a part of the economic warfare to where the United States, has leverage in this instance to do this to this company and, try in their attempts to, flailing to stop China's economic rise. But in the process, you're the same lives are being destroyed by the people who the Uyghur lives, they're getting destroyed by people who claim to care about them. And that's why there was a recent video I saw. I'm going to actually be covering it in a video after this, because I'm going to be doing another China video. It might drop today or Friday. I don't know yet. But there were actual Han Chinese people. Like, they were yelling at this BBC reporter because they're like, yo, you're spreading all this false, these false narratives about our fucking country. And they're getting calls from family members around the world who are getting abused and brutalized because of the Chinese propaganda that's been going around in these Western countries. It's fucking insane. So again, you're throwing accusations at them and they're telling you, hey, come see for yourself. Come gather evidence yourself. We're an open book. You can come in. No, we don't want to. No, he wasn't ready. They're full of shit, man. The company then invited independent third-party specialists in labor audits to visit the facilities in Xinjiang and conduct unconstructed interviews with randomly chosen Uyghur workers. In every instance, the audits found no evidence of forced labor or coercion. Some international firms in Xinjiang have become reluctant to hire Uyghur staff, fearing that they will be unfairly blacklisted. Again, I want to read this for the Saga and Jetties of the world. Some international firms in Xinjiang have become reluctant to hire Uyghur staff, fearing that they will be unfairly blacklisted. This is what you're doing to these people when you push that bullshit. This reporter met one international products buyer, an American, who says he now has to ask Chinese companies in China whether they have Uyghur staff, and he feels bad doing so, but he needs to anticipate possible negative reactions from overseas. Xinjiang business operators to whom this reporter has spoken say that in the area of 13 million people, there are bound to be cases of friction if journalists want to seek them out. But the overall picture of the province being a nightmarish network of concentration camps and slave farms is a grotesque distortion. You'll find more tension between workers and officials in downtown St. Louis or Detroit, a Hong Kong businessman says, and that's 100% facts. Rather than getting slaves from government prisons, Yang's team say they get staff in China the same way they hire people in any other country, with the use of resumes and interviews. And that's basically what the article boils down to. They do have a little bit more, but like I said, as y'all know, I'll link the articles down below so you can read the full thing yourself. But another point I want to make though is that it's crazy that people will literally like the hardcore China hawk thumpers will say all this shit about China, forced labor, this, that, and the third. Like, for example, Tom Cotton, I covered on this video. Tom Cotton says we have an under prison problem. We have an under incarceration problem. I think that's exactly how he said it, an under incarceration problem. This is the same, like, never go full Kamala, because guess what? We use forced labor here in this country with prisoners. That's why there's an incentive to lock so many people up so they can do free labor on behalf of the state, corporations, and so on and so forth. You know, in California, like, our vice president literally kept people in prison so they could fight the California wildfires for next to nothing. We have prisoners that make uniforms and all types of shit for corporations like McDonald's, Wendy's, all types of folks. No, not a fucking peep about that though. But we're talking about some country around the world based upon shoddy bullshit evidence. Fuck out my face, dog. Get all the way the fuck out of here. You can miss me with that bullshit. So yeah, so y'all get the overall sentiment on how I feel about, shit like this. I'm not saying China's a perfect utopian country and shit like that. China definitely has its problems from my perspective, not from anybody else's perspective. So y'all, even people that rock with China, you can get at me for this. I don't give a fuck. This is my opinion. From my perspective, yeah, China's authoritarian. I'm not denying that. But as I always say, I can see why they are based upon their colonial history and how they don't want to see that happen again. They're very feverishly trying to protect themselves from that. But you don't shield your people from bad ideas. Like you can't hide idea. You can't raise your idea up as the best by hiding other ideas. That's not how that fucking works. It actually makes people more enticed to the bad ideas anyway, because you're forbidding it. It's basically the whole effect of, your parents and basically your school, everybody in your life, every, authoritative figure in your life saying, don't smoke weed, don't do drugs. What are you going to do? Smoke weed. You're going to do. It's the same. It's that effect. The taboo nature creates incentive to want to get involved in it. So that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the video out there. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Emphasis on all that because y'all know YouTube been keeping the brother down. I know y'all saw that I posted Tox Talk clips. So I just wanted to let y'all know I'm kind of transforming Tox Talk into more of like a podcast type of thing instead of like trying to, because originally it was meant to be like me trying to do a daily show, but I don't know. As of right now, I don't think I want to do a daily show right now. So I'm just going to leave it as like a podcast, like a long form podcast when I do have guests on and just talk to people long form and shit like that. So, yes, I'm going to be posting the clips for the show. I think this is what it's going to be. I'm going to see what y'all reactions are, but The clips are going to post on Tuesdays, and the full show is going to post on Thursdays on YouTube, and it's going to be on you can get it on Spotify as well, and listen to it wherever you can listen to podcasts. That I'll post a link for it on Thursday when the full show posts. My guy High Media pulled up virtually to talk to your guy, to talk to your boy. So yeah, we definitely talk some controversial shit on there. I know y'all saw some of the titles. So yeah, but that's just what that's going to be. That's going to be more of a podcast thing going forward. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close the video, guys. Thanks for tuning in.